Hello and welcome to our next symposium panel about how to make video part of your marketing strategy. We are so happy to have you here. I would love to hear from you if you want to chime in the comments. And instead of location today, this afternoon here in North Carolina, where I'm sitting at the Spoonflower office, I would love to hear what your favorite TikTok and Instagram creators are. Who do you love to watch videos from as an inspirational starting off point before we jump into a conversation all about video? We're really excited to have everybody here. Seeing a lot of different places in the United States popping into chat. I love to watch Kate Reese. Who doesn't? It's so fun. Indie Bloom Design, Mindy, I'm seeing a call out for you. And Craft. Are these just all the instructors? I mean, oh, Jesse, that's your comment. I'm reading your comment. That makes more sense. I'm like, wow, this person has really great taste. They're just dropping everybody, like really sucking up to us now in a great way. All sorts of people. I think I saw Floss Tube. Ooh, I need to check that YouTube creator out. All right, we'll keep dropping creators in the comments. We would love to know who inspires you. But I am thrilled to be joined by some really incredible video creators here. So let's kick things off. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this year's Surface Design Symposium presented by Spoonflower and the Craft Industry Alliance. I'm Nicole. I am the social media manager here at Spoonflower. And I'm so excited to be moderating this panel to talk about all things video content. A little bit about me before we introduce our speakers. I've been at Spoonflower for 8 years, starting in the print room where I got to fall in love with this company through designs made by artists just like you on fabric wallpaper and then home decor. I've spent a lot of time in different departments, but I am ultimately in my happy place here on the brand marketing team, working with the creative community through social media platforms, and I manage our strategy and brand voice across all social media. When I'm not working on my phone and on my computer, you can find me at the Pottery Studio or a live concert or kayaking around Durham, North Carolina. And Spoonflower is a print-on-demand manufacturer, if you weren't aware, that produces wallpaper, home decor, and fabric. We have an online global marketplace connecting makers and consumers with independent artists all across the world, each of them earning royalties every time their designs are purchased. Any artist can set up shop at spoonflower.com to start growing your own surface design business. And today's session is co-presented by Craft Industry Alliance. At Craft Industry Alliance, they know that building a business is a lot of hard work. Don't go it alone. Craft Industry Alliance is a community for craft professionals where you can get advice and support every single day. Build your network alongside other artists and makers, plus get in-depth coverage of craft industry news and ideas, tools, and resources to help you make smart decisions. So you can join at craftindustrｙalliance.org. Before we dive into our exciting panel, let's introduce everybody. So I'm going to let each of you introduce yourself, but I'm joined here by Kathy Cano Murillo, Mabel Tan, Kate Talcott, and Mindy Young. And Kathy, I'm going to let you start things off since you are at the top for me.
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Kathy Cano Murillo, the Crafty Chica, and I'm celebrating 21 years of my brand, Crafty Chica, all different types of Latino-centric design and I do everything from teaching workshops to authoring books to designing fabric and stationery products and craft supplies, a little bit of everything. And I love video.
Great. Mindy, would you like to go next?
Hey, I'm Mindy Young from Indie Bloom Design, and I have been in the fabric design industry for about almost 7 years now. I started on Spoonflower and kind of made my splash into the world thanks to Spoonflower. So I actually teach others how to do this as well in my Limitless course. And I love just the whole design industry, and just being a part of this community. We have amazing people, and I just love giving back. And I'm excited to teach you a little bit about what I do behind the scenes with video, because I'm an introvert at heart, but video is awesome because you can hide behind the camera and produce really great content.
Amazing. And I have to say, I'm geeking out a little just moderating this course, having seen all of your video work from everybody on social media through my own position. So to have this conversation is really exciting. Kate, why don't you go next?
Awesome. Great. Hi, I'm Kate Talcott. I'm a watercolor artist and educator, and I'm the owner of Splatter and Bloom, which is a watercolor stationery shop. But my true passion is sharing the wild and wonderful world of watercolor with anybody who will listen. And you can just kind of think of me as your very own personal Bob Ross with a coffee addiction and volume control issues. So I really love helping make learning watercolor really fun, approachable, and doable. And so I do that through hosting online workshops. I sell DIY kits, so you can get a taste of high quality watercolor supplies without breaking the bank, and lots of video free education stuff that I'm excited to talk about now.
Amazing. That's a great combination. Bob Ross, anything, count me in. Mabel, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mabel. I'm a surface designer based in Melbourne, Australia. So hello to all the Australians here that's joining the call. I am so new with video content, but let me just briefly tell you that I am a huge introvert, and for me to actually go into video has been so challenging. It was, like I said to someone in my community, it is like childbirth, but it is as beautiful as when you have the end product. There is so much joy to actually having the video out. And I like to put not a spin, but I like to put a bit of me in all my videos and having a storytelling part in it, which is why I fell in love with videos now. Like, I used to hate videos and being in front of the camera, but I love storytelling. That is one thing that no one can take that away from me. I love that, and I'm using that in my videos.
I love that, and can't wait to learn more about that strategy, Mabel. Thank you, everybody. Before we dive in, there is going to be a poll that is dropped. If it hasn't been dropped in already, Jesse will be dropping it in. Our artist community manager is helping me moderate behind the scenes. So please participate and let us know where you are in your video content journey. And we are focusing on Instagram here because that is the platform that we are all on the most as of now, but we will not be ignoring TikTok. So don't worry about that if you were wondering. Okay, thank you. Let's dive in. Let's start with the basics, okay? What tools do you find the most helpful when you're filming and editing videos? Mindy, let's start with you.
Okay, so I love using my iPhone. That is the thing that I use the most. I do have a professional camera. I've tried to use that, but I feel like if you're not super advanced with fancy cameras, your iPhone's going to work way better than you can produce with a camera that you don't know how to work. So I say use anything that works, like for you, what works for you. And for me, my iPhone works the best for me. I love taking pictures and then editing them in Lightroom. And then I add those into my reels as well, like for the post picture and the very end of the reel. And so I use Lightroom to edit all of my pictures. And then I love just using Instagram itself for making reels and everything. I've downloaded a few apps and I don't really like how they work. So I'm interested to hear if anybody has awesome video apps as well, but I just use Instagram directly when I'm making all my videos, and then I save them and share them on different platforms as well.
I think it's so important not to discount the tools that are in the apps that we're posting on and publishing in, because many times there are really great tools that are free and available for use there. Kate, do you have favorite tools that you would like to share here?
Yeah, so I actually use very similar tools to you, Mindy. iPhone, and I've tried using fancy cameras, but honestly, the iPhone focuses better when I'm moving my paintbrush around. I really like my Canvas Co. lamp. I don't know if you can see this happening, but it's got their shop Canvas Co. on Instagram, and it's just really movable, so I can like move it and make it really easy to get different angles. Oh yeah, twins.
Here we go. Here we go. I love to see the similar tools showing up.
Yeah, I also use the Instagram app to edit, but I will then download it before I post it and put it on TikTok and YouTube sometimes, and sometimes you can use them for pins too. So I find it's the easiest to put in all the places.
Absolutely. The apps, they're there for a reason, right? Like sometimes it's best to really learn what tools are presented to you instead of finding another. Mabel, do you have any tools you would like to share?
Yeah, so sorry. I actually have a couple of apps that I use. I use InShot. If I'm using my phone to take a video, which I do most of the time actually, I 100%. I actually had a camera that I used and I was so disappointed with the quality. I just went back using my phone. And the phone is so great because there's so many apps you can use while filming. So I actually use, because I do a lot of storytelling, I'm actually needing some copy and I have to write my stories first before I actually film something. So I have a teleprompter, which is also a free app you can actually download, and it actually shows the copy on the side of the teleprompter. It doesn't make you look like you're reading text. So you're actually by the camera itself. So it actually looks like you're talking to an audience. So I use teleprompter on the iPhone. I use InShot to edit it if I'm doing a reel for Instagram. But if I'm doing like a mini course or something, I use CapCut, which you can use on your MacBook. So it's bigger screen, it's easier than using your phone. And those are the three apps that I use most of the time.
You just dropped two that the Spoonflower social team uses as well. We are big fans of InShot and CapCut here, and we also I'll add another tool call out for a site called Kapwing that lets you add subtitles with an AI service that is super helpful for adding accessibility, and especially with the knowledge that so many people watch videos on social media with their sound off.
Yeah. I do that. My husband thinks it's weird. Like, why do you have your sound off? I'm like, I'm reading the captions. It's there.
That's honestly been the hardest thing for TikTok for me, because I want to know what the audio trend is, but I also want to I don't want to hear the sound if I'm in a public place.
Yeah.
So I can only consume that app if I'm by myself. Kathy, do you feel like we've kind of covered all of the tool necessities from your standpoint?
Well, I'll tell you what was a game changer for me. When I upgraded to the new iPhone, I decided to keep my old iPhone and use that for a lot of my content. I cleared off my account, so it's just strictly dedicated to B-roll shots or any. That way I don't use up all the memory on my main iPhone. That has come in handy. I have a little tool like this for close-up shots as I'm working. And what I do is I use InShot. So I keep all of my footage, edit it all on InShot, put my logo up in the right-hand corner with the intention that people are going to want to share it like crazy. So my logo will be there. And then I'm able to keep that master and then use it for all of the different platforms. And I have lighting, I have a tripod, I have a top down. So I just make sure that I have everything I need for every kind of angle and situation. So yes, InShot, my second iPhone, the different types of stands and different types of lighting.
That is excellent advice about the second phone. I had never even considered that.
It was a game changer for me. It was such a game changer.
I need to replace my phone soon. So world, watch out.
Yeah,
I'm about to have two. That's a great idea. do any of you find that I saw a couple of lights, those canvas lights? I love that setup, Kathy, you have for your close-up process videos, that tool you can just lean your phone on. Are there any tripods or any tools that you find really valuable while doing video and filming on your iPhones? Because it does seem like all of us are using iPhones for recording this video content. I know I personally, I love a tripod. I also have found if I am walking or like doing room pans or anything like that, just locking my elbows does a world of difference when stabilizing your footage. So I'm curious if any of you have any advice around that.
Mine is kind of a cheapy example, but I just use a big fat roll of painter's tape and shove the phone in there, and then I can kind of tilt it where I want it. So that's a good cheap hack.
I love a cheap hack. Any other cheap hacks from y'all? Or, you know, tools that you paid money for that you find are really helpful? Mabel, do you have any?
Sorry. I think Kathy wants, Kathy, go first.
Kathy, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, just, you don't have to like get super expensive stuff. Just have, you know, tools that will allow you to have different angles. So it could be like a little tripod just for what kind of shot you want to get. And I just have a drawer here where I have them all. They're not expensive, but I just play around with them so I have variety in shots.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Mabel, did you want to add anything here?
Yes, I actually want to show you the tripod because I'm in my studio anyway, which is also my living room. So I have two types of tripods. This is more of an angle. So I do B-rolls because I'm filming for YouTube as well. So I have like this to have for B-rolls, and this is really good because it's got two types of like ways to bend. And if I'm doing an in-person shot, then I'll do a simple tripod like this, a selfie stick. I recently ordered, like Instagram loves giving me ads all the time, and they know how to target me. So they actually got this right. They actually sent me this brand called Uniku. I've ordered it, but it hasn't arrived. So like Kathy said, I'm actually going to use two iPhones to film my videos in the future. That's such a great trick. Just because we're so much comfortable with just using an iPhone to film, it's so easy. And so that particular tripod has two ways where it bends 90 degrees, so you can actually show your work. And the other one is a selfie stick, but with lighting in the background. So they sold me on that when I saw the ad, and I bought it, and it hasn't arrived. I was gonna like show it to you guys, but it hasn't arrived. So, well,
it looks like Kate might be a fan of the brand.
So geeky. I feel so geeky like talking about this, but you guys get me.
You're in the right group of people. We're all geeks about video over here. So Mindy, did you have any tools you wanted to add to this conversation or this topic?
So it's pretty much, it's the same. I use my canvas the most. I have had like a gooseneck one that I used, and I did not like I hated bending, and like it would shake if I bumped the table or something, or if I'm painting and my arm's moving, it would like bounce all over, and I didn't like that. And so I got this canvas here probably just a few months ago, and I love how you can like twist it like back and forth and things, and that there's the light underneath. It's been really great, and I love using this. And then if I ever have to do selfie stuff, which I avoid because I tell you I'm an introvert, I would rather have the camera on something that I'm painting than my face. So when I do have to use stuff, I'll just extend my arm or use I'll like put it up in my window, and I actually have two little painting jars of water that I just pop them together and put my camera in the middle, and it works. So that's my little hack.
Perfect. Natural light is the best light. It's definitely what we recommend when we ask for a video. So there you go. That two water jars is all you need. We mentioned earlier, a few of you mentioned how you add your logo for uses on different channels, how you're filming for different platforms. Mabel, you mentioned that you're also filming for YouTube. So I would love to talk about if you think it's best to post the same video across all social media platforms, or do you create optimized different videos for each one? Kate, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're just starting out, especially while you're getting a feel for what works and what doesn't, it's really good to just kind of, you're already making it, you may as well post it there. You can send it to your newsletter, like anywhere you can post it is great. But I will say, like, as you are forming your communities on each of these platforms, you'll find that some gravitate more toward other things. Like on TikTok, I find that people really like the educational materials a lot more than if I'm showing my products. Like if I'm showing my products, then it's like snooze fest McGee. So I have to like find kind of sneaky ways to, not sneaky, but like find subtle ways to talk about that, but still be teaching something. And so it just, I think at the beginning, it's good to post everywhere and just kind of gauge it.
That's a really good point. Like really testing to see where your audience is in different platforms, what they're engaged with, what those demographics look like, because they are going to be different across every platform. Mabel, do you have any advice on this topic you would like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I think definitely what you just said, that every platform has a different audience. I'm also very new on TikTok and YouTube. And obviously the people that know me are people on Instagram, because I've been on that platform the longest. So there is already a community there. I do find that if I'm posting on YouTube, obviously the format of the video is different. They do have now YouTube Shorts, but if you're going to do a long video, they would prefer to do the horizontal rather than the vertical version. And this is also another reason why I bought a unique tripod, is so I can have two different angles on my phone, so one vertical and one horizontal. Just because when you're actually editing, and some editing apps actually allow you to have your horizontal crop to a vertical, but it just looks wrong. And the OCD, I can feel the OCD rise in me when it doesn't look right, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't gel with me. So I actually have to re-edit things. So the audience are always going to be different on different platforms. I feel TikTok has a much younger audience. YouTube has also different audience I haven't really identified yet, but if you're going to go across the platform, just be aware of the different format in your videos. And if it's too much, like an introvert, it really gets overwhelming trying to go across so many platforms. Just stick to one. If Instagram's going to be easiest for you, reach for the lowest hanging fruit, go for Instagram. And then slowly, very slowly, gradually move on to TikTok, because it is the same format of video anyway. And if you really want to, at the end of the day, go to YouTube. So that's my advice.
That's great advice, Mabel. I love especially your call out to stick with one. It can be very easily to get overwhelmed on social media, as I'm sure we've all experienced. There are so many trends going on at one time, and it can be hard to know where to start. So I think that's incredible advice, especially as more and more platforms add video capabilities and lean into video after, as we see the success of TikTok. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that advice. Kathy or Mindy, I didn't know if you wanted to chime in on that one, but please feel free to speak up if you have any suggestions or tips around platform changes. Kathy, would you like to go first?
Yes, I love to post on all of them. I have several different folders in my iPhone, so I know where I put the ones where I'm ready to post, and I mix and match them. So I won't post them all at the same time everywhere. I kind of stagger them. Sometimes one of them will have just music. Another time it will have a voiceover. So that gives me two opportunities to reshare those, and they look different. So I always think of the end user and where can I catch them, and just keeping it a little different. And it really is not that much work. It helps having that folder where I have them there and I'm like, okay, here's where I can go grab one that I haven't used yet for TikTok, and I can upload that one and choose the music to go with it. So you can fine tune them on each platform by changing the music and making it look a little different that way.
Absolutely. That's excellent advice as well. I love this. I feel like I'm learning a ton too. You know, I think about as well, like just when you see TikTok, like the cadence of content on the different platforms, I feel like TikTok is a lot faster and there's a lot more posting and even collaborations that Spoonflower has done with TikTok creators. There's a lot more sharing happening on one platform versus another. So I think that can also have an impact in this as well. To your point, Kathy, of thinking about how many pieces of content can you create from one project. Mindy, did you have anything you would like to add?
Yeah, so just for anyone that does like to maybe like recrop them, I use Canva. I love their platform, and they have recently just released in the last few months a new way of, if you like create something, you can also duplicate it and then like recrop it for whatever else. So for Facebook or whatever, you can create the one document or the one video and then say you want to post it on Facebook, and it will duplicate it and then recrop it for that. And like Mabel said, it's super annoying if you're like a perfectionist and you want it to be like perfect. But if you're just wanting to get some content out there that you need to get out and you don't have time to shoot the different angles and everything and edit both videos, it's a really easy way to automatically crop it for like all the different types of platforms. Really quick, simple, easy. And I use that quite a bit on a daily basis. So.
Fantastic call out. Yes, because if it's not enough to keep up with, the aspect ratios of every platform are a little different, and good to know too. Thank you, Mindy. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the benefits and drawbacks of long form versus short form videos and the best places for each. Let's kick this off with Kathy. Would you like to answer this first?
Oh, sure. So for long form, I feel like the benefits are you can really brand yourself as an expert because you can get into the details of your tutorial, show all of those different aspects, show your personality, have more time to connect with viewers. The downside is it definitely takes more time. And because it's very professional, you want it to look really, really good. And I went through, where I used to post a YouTube video every single week. But then when short form video with TikTok and Instagram took off, I really had to prioritize what was doing good. And it turned out my short form content was doing much better than my longer YouTube videos. So I just put a hold on those to switch to what was working. And I love the short form videos because they're quick. You can, especially if you get in the groove of, using InShot, you could sit down and edit a quick video and just get that content out faster. And so there are benefits to both. And I think it really depends on what are your goals and what are you most comfortable with. So if you want to, build your brand under a certain category and really feel like you want to have space to give a lot of great info, maybe long form is for you, where you can do that and just focus on that. Or if you just want to, like let it rain like glitter, all of those projects, then you could do a bunch of short form video to get that out. So it really depends on each person's goals and what they want out of it.
That's really interesting to hear that you've switched your strategy because of that performance. I have a follow-up for you before we get to hear from another presenter. Have you seen your long format video do well on any other platform beyond YouTube, or do you really think of YouTube as the home for your long format content? Because I know TikTok has been adding longer abilities for their videos. So I would love to hear your thoughts around that.
It does do it. My long form storytelling videos do well on TikTok. Storytelling about like the craft fails or inspiration or tips or things like that. But and then on Facebook, they do well also. Facebook, they do really well. So I'm not stopping them. I'm just kind of like putting them on hold while I work on these other ones and figure out what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, I would say Facebook, they probably do really well. And then TikTok, depending on, what the topic is.
Thank you. That's helpful to know.
Kat-
How about you, Mabel?
No, I was gonna butt in and say, can I ask Kathy a question?
Please.
Because I'm
let's
learning so
continue
much from
this.
her.
Yeah.
How long is your long form videos on YouTube?
They're probably not as long as you think. They're like around 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. So I know they could go a lot longer, but I just, maybe I should do them longer, but I just like, show me how to do it. Show me how to do it. So I don't really go in with I'm going to show every angle of resin. I'm just like, here's a cool resin project. Here's what you need. Here's how to make it. But on my blog, I have like the full meal deal where they can go for more, much more in depth.
Yeah, I feel like I hear a lot of, oh, it's got to be 8 minutes, it's got to be 10 minutes or whatever. And that just seems like I'm just trying to fill the space. And so I find that feels really uncomfortable to me because I feel like I'm wasting people's time if I can just get right to it, which is why I found I really like going to TikTok because it's like the quick, the fast, like let's get that information.
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard it either, but recently I heard that most people, it's 3 seconds. Like they'll flip through a video and they'll watch it for 3 seconds and flip to the next one. So you got to catch somebody in those first 3 seconds to get them to stay on your video and watch it longer. So make sure in the first 3 seconds you have something that's eye-catching or something that's interesting to make people want to stay and to continue to watch it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mindy, you're spot on, especially in such a swipe world we have now. Whether it's short or long format, those first 3 seconds are really valuable in content. And if you can't hook a viewer in those first 3 seconds, it's really not likely that they're going to finish the video. On that topic a little bit, I read an article recently about completion rate of video views as well. And it's very rare for somebody to completely watch a video, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. And even the highest paid and the highest earning YouTube creators, they aim for a 70% completion rate. So they're planning on people watching 70% of their video, not 100%. So something, another, statistic that is interesting to keep in mind as you're thinking about your long tail content.
And if I might be able to add something to this, one thing that I have liked about long form content is doing lives, because I feel like the quick form content is like a way to bring people in, like the advertisement or the I've gotcha, the hook. But the long form content with the lives I found has been really powerful for community building and getting to know people, answering questions and just humanizing me, I guess. So I've really enjoyed the live stuff.
Absolutely. Lives are great. I'm so happy you brought up that tool, Kate. When you are doing lives, are you managing everything on your own? Are you managing comments on your own while also doing your process videos or whatever you're working on?
Yeah, so far I've been able to do it on my own. I find people are kind of shy. I'm like, give me questions. I want them. But what I'll do is I'll have my light like right here so I can be painting and then kind of like look up, and if I'm working on something that I don't know, a large wash that I don't want to dry on me, I'll say I'm gonna look at it in just a second, so just set up your questions there and then I'll get to them and kind of take little breaks while things are drying.
Fantastic tool. Another shout out for the canvas light right there as a helper for your lives as well. Mabel, I would love to hear, since you're just starting out on your YouTube journey and really thinking through long format and short format video, how is this really influencing your strategy, and what are you thinking of when you're thinking about what content you want to create for YouTube?
I have no strategy. No, I'm just kidding. So there are a few things that I'm thinking about in my journey, and it's been really frustrating for me because YouTube long form, it takes a lot of time and energy. There's a lot of like thought that puts into it. Like I've been studying YouTube a lot this last couple of months, and it's really funny because I have never been drawn to YouTube. I've never watched YouTube videos up till now, all right? And I'm 41. So I'm starting this really old, guys. So anyway, my point is that when I'm like what Kate said about humanizing the story, that is what my approach is, because I find that people always look and think that, oh, she's doing so great. She must be this. But the truth is there's so much failure, there's so much worry, there's so much anxiety that goes in my head that I want to share and connect with people in a more human form. And it's really ironic that we have the internet and we're all more connected, but we're not connecting in a human level. And I want to actually use YouTube in that way to humanize our experience, to make sure that people don't think that, oh, I'm sure she can do this because of that and because she has this and that. And the truth is I had nothing starting out as a surface designer. So that is why I wanted to use YouTube long format for that sense, to tell that story, to tell my story. But I'm also thinking of only doing that once a month, because doing that every week, like Kathy, is gonna kill me. Absolutely, just knock me out. So instead, YouTube Shorts will be something that I plan to do every week, but then YouTube, a long format, is something I do once a month. So it's kind of like, that's my strategy. That's what I'm trying to do.
That sounds like a great way to go about it, honestly, Mabel. Like a little bite size, yeah, really focusing on those humanizing elements, the stories you can tell, relatable and creative, a recipe for success, I'd say. And I'm excited to see your YouTube grow. We're going to switch topics to one that is very prevalent in short format video, and I'm talking about audio. So we talked earlier about how people love muting their video, watching things on mute. Well, TikTok really changed the game with that. And now audio is a huge part of Reels and TikToks and short form video on social media. So how do you think about trending audio sounds as a part of your marketing strategy? How do you capitalize on those trends? Kate, could you kick us off?
Yeah, so I think I'm maybe going to take kind of a non-traditional approach here, but I don't use a lot of the trends. I really use mostly my voice. Occasionally I'll put some like atmospheric music behind it that's royalty free, but I really want to be able to use my content across the board. So, and I don't want to be violating anybody's, rights of their content and things like that. So I mostly just use my voice, and I want my content to really be evergreen. Before this, I was a teacher librarian. So I really like the idea of creating a catalog of resources that can be continually used and isn't just going to be like, oh yeah, that song drives me nuts. But that's me. I also feel very comfortable yapping my trap for a very long time. So that it maybe isn't growing as quickly as it would if I were using a lot of the trending audio. But for me, I feel very comfortable with the rate that I'm growing, and I feel like it's felt true to myself.
And I think that's really important, Kate, because I have seen creators state at times that they feel pressure to jump into every single trend and have it really resonate with their own audience when it doesn't resonate with them personally. And I think that's such an important element of choosing what you want to participate in on social media as a trend. Like, don't jump into everything, but if you see something that like resonates with you personally, your work personally, it's probably going to resonate with your audience as well. And if you don't see one, just do your own thing, and that, there's space for that as well. Not everything needs to be a dance or a corn themed. It's okay. Like, as much as I love Corn Kid, it's okay. So yeah, that's great advice, Kate. Kathy, what about you? How do you think about sound and audio?
Oh, well, I definitely pay attention to the trends, and I'll save the ones that I like, that I feel I could fit something authentic to it. I don't force it. And that way it's there, where sometimes I'll be making something, I'll go, oh, I should use that one trend. This would fit perfect for that. So I make sure it's a custom fit for it. So I do save the ones that I feel something for. And I do the same thing as Kate. I love to just be myself, talk in my videos so that it's evergreen. People can come back. I've also had it happen where I've used a song in the background while I was talking, and then there is a copyright thing with it, and they just remove the whole audio. And again, I always think of the user, the end user, that's taking away from their experience. So I want to make sure that, I can have the right kind of music that won't get shut down from that. And but yeah, I think it's important to pay attention to them, not jump on them too late. Just if you see something and it feels right, definitely go for it. Don't make it your whole strategy. Like, just with everything else, sprinkle it in there. Again, thinking of the end user experience, variety, consistency, and variety, so that they will always want to go to your page and see, oh, I wonder what something new is that she has posted. I even sprinkle in some comedy videos, some little skit videos, just to keep it lively and fun, so people want to come back and have a fun experience.
Who else is going to go binge Kathy's TikTok and like video channels after this? I want to watch all of these skits. I love that. Thank you. That's really, really great advice, especially the timing of trending audio. It starts usually on one platform. We've seen TikTok happen a lot, and then it makes its way over time to other networks. By the time it's on Instagram, it might be over on TikTok. So it's really important to really see what's resonating if you do decide to participate in a trend and it's, on the later end, it might do well, but don't be surprised if it doesn't perform as highly as you might think as well, if it's something that people are starting to get a little tired of, and especially if it's an audio, because y'all know, if you hear a song over and over again, you do not want to hear that song after a frequency of hearing it constantly for a week.
But one other little tip is, sometimes people think, oh, I don't have to follow them on TikTok and Instagram because they post the same thing on both. We don't play that game. You keep a surprise element in there. So like on my TikTok, I'll have some different things on there that I don't ever post on Instagram. Like TikTok, I had a painted pumpkin, and I told a story about an embarrassing Halloween costume. But on Instagram, I just put it with, a fun atmospheric music. So people are like, oh, I got it. So you want to keep it lively, keep it a little different on both. Add something to one that you don't have on the other.
Excellent optimization. I love that. Yeah, TikTok is that like silly audience, quirky audience, and Instagram definitely does feel like a more polished place. So thinking through how you're telling a story versus having that, more finished audio is a great way to differentiate a similar, like the same video on different platforms. Thank you.
And I have one thing to add. So I have teenagers, and they're the best to get anything that's trending, like especially on TikTok. I'm like, okay, what songs are cool? Like, they tell me everything. So like, you can hit trends, especially if you have teenage kids to help you. They help me all the time. They're like, Mom, you got to use this hashtag and all this stuff. But I also love to use music that like personally inspires me, and I'm like an 80s and 90s girl, so I love 80s and 90s music. So most all of my songs are 80s and 90s music. So like when people come, it's almost like they're getting a part of me in the sound too. And I do pay attention to, like, if I'm going to use it for an ad or something later, I don't add any audio to it for the same reasons. It will get taken down and you won't be able to use it or pay for ads to it if it has any sort of audio that's not your own. So
yeah, thinking about business accounts, Spoonflower is a business account. We do not have access to a lot of that commercial music. So even if it's an original audio that somebody put up, but it has, Harry Styles in the background, we credit artists on our platform. It is a rule of our brand. It is a rule of our community. We will credit all creatives we work with. So we will not be using those on our page, which can be a limitation for trends, but that it just, you have to remind yourself of the value of so many other music. And yeah, to your point, we have had even like contributors who've worked with us like purchase like royalty free or like get a license for music that then gets removed, and it was a voiceover and then the whole video gets muted because of that audio issue. So it's definitely something that I think nobody has like a good sense of like what is right all the time, but we are all just doing the best we can. And as social media grows, I'm sure there will be more and more rules and like ways to use audio. But yeah, that's a great call out, and have a teenager on hand. I have
Yes.
You can borrow mine too if you need one.
Hi,
Yeah, I'll tell you all the cool things.
Original audio is also something that I think people, like we had talked about telling stories and like voiceovers, but I want to remind everybody that you don't even have to have an audio backing track to your voice. Like I have seen some really compelling audios like that are used by people who are like, hey, are you a maker? Show me the first thing you made. Show me the last thing you made. I would love to see a Spoonflower version of that. Artists, if anybody wants to start one, hey, Spoonflower artists, like show me something, and like that can start engagement, and you can work with your fellow artists and ask them to contribute to your sound, and you could really create your own start to a viral audio in your own community. So thinking through tools like that are a great way to incite engagement as well. Awesome tips. Really enjoying this conversation. We have time for a couple more, and then we'll jump into questions from our audience. So earlier we talked about those first 3 seconds, and we're going to take a moment to really focus on those first 3 seconds because they are really important to hook the viewer in that time period. What are some tips that you have for creating the hook? Kate, can you kick us off?
So this is kind of silly, but I did this series of leaf videos, and I have a foliaged backyard, and I was just like popping out of leaves and being like, hey, and I think it just surprised people. So they were like, what is this woman doing in the trees, you know? And so something silly like that can be great, or something like, I was talking about this with somebody earlier today, but imposter syndrome. If you ever feel imposter syndrome, sometimes you can just introduce yourself and say what you do. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a watercolor artist, you know, and saying that over and over it gives people an idea of who you are, and it makes you more confident saying it. And then I also just like to have a big text right at the beginning that tells you like kind of the saucy headline, you know?
Absolutely. Does anybody watch Spooky Lake Month on TikTok? It's I can't remember her account, but in the first 3 seconds of every video, in the first seconds, she says every single video, yes, hello, this is so-and-so, and this is Spooky Lakes Month. She does it every single video. And anytime I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling and I hear that, yes, hello, like in that tone, I'm like, okay, I'm here. I will be watching this video. Like, I love this series. And so like she almost created her own theme music that like really led her followers to know that that is her content on For You pages, not just on her own feed. So that introduction that you mentioned is a great tip for somebody who doesn't want to, you know, isn't as much of an extrovert, doesn't want to pop out of that leaf pile or cause a surprise right away. Kathy, do you have any suggestions for this?
Well, I love all of the tips. This is something I need to work on more of, like getting that hook in there. I have heard a lot about TikTok and Instagram about incorporating keywords into your titles that you post on your video, into your description. If there's a way to like put that in, you know, like Kate was saying at the beginning with the leaves, like whatever her keyword would be about that video in her intro, that's brilliant. Like with the visualization is there, the hook is there, those are goals. So I think that's just one of the new things I heard was incorporating keywords into your title, your caption, what you're saying in the beginning, and that will help give you a boost, which kind of bums me out because especially what I loved about TikTok is it just felt so freestyle. You could just go on and do your thing. And then now it's like, you got to incorporate this, you got to incorporate that. But if it's part of your business strategy, it'd probably be good to look into that. But yeah, definitely got to have that hook at the beginning. It takes practice though. And I love what you said about the imposter syndrome, like stating what you are. That is such a great tip.
Oh, great. I am actually going to ask a different question, and it's going to be our last question before we go into the Q&A. But I think it's a good last question to have because, we're all at different levels and places in our video experience, but I think a lot of people on this call are total beginners. So what are some ideas for how to get started in short video and just adding video to your marketing strategy for somebody who doesn't have a huge follower base, maybe has an iPhone or an Android? Let's not discriminate those other smartphones. A phone with a video, and you're ready to get started. What do you do? Mabel, do you want to start with this?
Oh, darn. I was hoping you would start with someone else, but
Pass it to somebody else.
No, that's fine. I'll go.
I'll take it if you.
I actually was watching something last night, and it was a really good advice. I actually mainly started YouTube or thinking about the YouTube idea because of mental health. So this year I kind of took like a mental health break from a lot of things. I actually slowed down, and for some weird reason, my heart was like, you should tell your story on YouTube. And I'm like, why? Why would I want to do that? That's just nuts. And and obviously my introvert side battled with this for a long time, but my heart was telling me, like, I think people would actually get a lot from you telling your story and just being open to sharing what you've experienced and your journey. And my point is, as an introvert, that sometimes your heart is the best teacher. And yes, we have all these trends, we have all these things that we want to do for businesses. But the point, like sometimes our heart, we kind of have to follow our heart to do the things that we love. And there are so many interests. I've had questions from people saying like, how do I go on video when I hate it so much? And I hate showing my face, when I hate like spending so much time. They have this real anxiety about it, and I get that. I really, really do. But when your heart speaks, you find that courage to actually show up in front of the camera. Like being in front of the camera becomes secondary. Telling your story becomes primary. So when you're first coming up on, video, whether it's Instagram Reel or TikTok, go with your gut, go with your heart, and then your hate, your resentment, all that negativity just melts away. And that's where you can start first. And it doesn't matter about hashtag, it doesn't matter about trending videos or audios. As what you share with your heart that's going to attract your audience to you.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you, Mabel.
I have
a beautiful answer.
Add to that.
Kate, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah. I think just picking something small, sometimes it can be like so overwhelming to be like, oh, what could I even talk about? I mean, maybe you just talk about one tiny process of something that you do that day or one single part of your day, even if it's something that isn't totally related to your work. Like maybe it's your morning ritual to get you ready to start working or whatever. I think it's a really great way to introduce people to you. It doesn't even have to be your face. You could just be like filming things on your desk, or even I really like doing time lapses of a process. So maybe you're packaging something, or maybe you're doing your stuff on Procreate and you do the time lapse of that or whatever. And then you can just tell a little chunk about your business, how you got started, or why this design matters to you, or where you came up with this idea, or even like funny jokes your dad used to tell you or something. I don't know. It can just be random, but a way for people to see your art.
Fantastic. I love it. These are great tips.
Those are quick ones.
Quickly, Kathy, would you like to chime in with any advice for beginners?
Yeah, I think just bust through the fear and have fun with it. This is your time on earth. This is your story, your experiences. Take up space. Share your story of what you're making. If you're making greeting cards and it makes you happy, and you're making a card on time lapse, and then you do a voiceover saying, the first time I ever made a greeting card, I cut everything all crooked, but at the end I loved it and I gave it to my grandma. Like, just get something in there like that. Like, try to relieve the pressure and just say, you know what, it's crafting, it's creativity, we're here to have fun. So just deep breath and just, make a commitment to do a little bit every day. And the more you do it, the easier it will become. It will become more of a habit. And you'll be so surprised at how much you'll be building community, and people will connect with you. And by you busting through your fear and sharing that, it will inspire someone else who's watching to do the same. So remove yourself from it and say, I'm doing this for the people. And that way it looks like you're doing an act of good, to be a force of good to inspire other people. And then you can relax a little bit and just be more confident with it. So consistency.
Amazing. Thank you. Mindy, do you want to chime in with anything? I know you have great advice,
Yeah.
so I'm excited to hear.
Yeah. So I would say kind of the same thing as everybody else, but just like showing up every day. That's what I tell a lot of the people that I teach. It's consistency and showing up every single day. And eventually people start following you, because you think about the people that you love to follow. You go look at them every day because you love them and you want to hear from them. So if you want people to follow you and enjoy coming back often, they want to see it. So don't be afraid to share. And sometimes it can be just like dumb little things, and other times it can be really planned out stuff. Don't feel like you have to do the planned out stuff every day. Like some of my best things are me just showing what I'm doing, what I'm working on for the day in my office, in my pajamas. Like I don't wear my shoes in my office. I currently don't have shoes on right now. So like just showing up every single day. And then also I love to save lots of videos that I love. So if I see something that I like, I'm like, oh, I would love to recreate that. So then I save it. And then I know I have a place that I can go back to when I need that inspiration to make something. I can just look back at those videos that I've saved and then go, oh yeah, that one would be really cute, but I'll do it in my way. And it helps just spark inspiration. So if you see stuff that you like and you think, oh, I could do that, save it. And then go back to it later when you need that inspiration.
Wow. Fantastic. Yeah. Great advice. 10 out of 10 for each of you. We are quickly running out of time. I could sit here and talk video with you for all night, all day long. But unfortunately, our time is coming to a close. That question really did address some questions from the audience as well, who are wondering how beginners start. I am going to ask one more question that I would love a quick response to. For each of you, Kathy, starting with you, how much time do you spend on video marketing in the grand scheme of your business? If you think of a percentage you can share, or hours per week that you dedicate to this work.
I would say probably 35%. I do a little bit each day. Because I do a lot of it, I'm very quick with it. I get a video idea, I'll go on InShot, get it done, post it, or put it in my folder. So, at the beginning, it's a little slower, but once you get used to it, it goes faster. So about 35%.
Great. Mindy, what about you?
I would say I don't even know. It's hard. So I just like to film myself throughout my day. I think if I start painting, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to turn on my phone real quick and just film this, even if I don't use it. Because then you create a library full of stuff for you to use that you can use in your marketing and those types of things as well. I am trending to try to do more video, and as well on like Pinterest and all the places, because that is where our world is going, even if you don't like it. It was one of those realizations that I just had to wake up. Like, as much as I complained that Instagram was changing, I had to wake up to reality that it's okay for change. Like, it will all be okay, and like we'll all get through it, and it will all be okay once it gets there, even though I will miss the things in the past. You just have to adapt to what changes. And as you make those adaptations, it just makes everything flow so much smoother. You're able to get ads out there that actually perform, so that you're not wasting time on all these things that aren't performing. So when the trends change, as much, even if you don't like it, just try to do it in your own way, so that you'll want to show up and you'll want to do it.
Excellent advice. Kate, what about you?
Yeah, I would say 40%, and I'm trying to make a shift to work like smarter, not harder, so that when I am filming, it's also doing something that's growing my business instead of just solely for content creation. So that's something that I have been actively working on.
Wonderful. Mabel.
So I don't really know how much time I spend doing video, but what I do is I do a batch creation. So I usually do my videos when I'm actually creating a new collection. So my intention of actually using video is really because I want to use Spoonflower more. So whenever I create a collection and upload it to Spoonflower, I actually video myself, and I put it all together onto a short reel on Instagram. So my plan is actually to create longer formats of those videos when I show my process of creating from scratch, so people know, like, this is what I do. Like, I hand draw, and people love seeing the whole behind the scene thing. They also have this, what's that word, ASMR,
Oh, yeah.
that people
The
just
sounds.
the sound and the experience. And so I always make sure that I have this element. So I do all that in a batch, and then post it on whatever platform it is. So it's more batch working. I don't know what the percentage is, but that's how I work with my videos.
Fantastic advice. I love that. And when your swatches arrive from Spoonflower, that's a great end to a video that shows that beginning to end process.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. We are just about at time. We're actually a little over, but this has been such a good conversation. We have incredible questions coming in. So attendees, just know that I will see your questions. Jesse will see your questions. We will compile even more answers for the recap of the symposium event. Jesse, I will help you do that. No worries on that. But yeah, we will get answers to you. And I'm really appreciating all of the conversation happening amongst the four of you and in chat from our attendees. Thank you so much, Kathy, Mindy, Kate, and Mabel, for sharing your expertise and experience in video from all stages of the process. And now that we're wrapping up, it's a great time to remind all of you watching that we would love to see your video and share them on Spoonflower's social media channels. So if you haven't already, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We're on all of the major social media platforms. You can tag us in your videos. You can use hashtag Spoonflower, hashtag Spoonflower Artist, hashtag Spoonflower Challenge for your design challenge content. We have a ton of different hashtags to utilize that we check regularly. And I actually put together an exciting resource that I'm sharing with you first. As we grow our TikTok and video content on Spoonflower's social media channels in the next foreseeable future, I would love to tap into your creativity and share videos that you share with us on our social media platforms. So Jesse or Catherine, our moderators, are dropping a link into chat right now for a Typeform survey that allows you to share links to videos that you think we should feature on Spoonflower's social channels and be a part of our creative community there. Thank you so much, Craft Industry Alliance, for partnering with us for this symposium. And I hope that all of you watching got just as much out of this as I did as a moderator. Stay tuned. Sarika is next with the keynote presentation, and it's going to be incredible. And thank you so much again, Kathy, Mindy, Mabel, and Kate for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank
Have a good
you.
night, day, wherever you are. Bye.